Sweet children, you have to become as pure as a lotus flower whilst living at home with your families. Follow the directions of the one Father. Do not do any disservice. Question, which children does Maya punch very hard? All of them these days. What is the highest destination? Maya gives you very, very hard punches to the children who? Obvious, not a rocket science answer.
Who don't remember the Father?
Or body conscious.
Who are body conscious. They stay in body consciousness. They become trapped in name and form. They become trapped in time and space. As soon as body consciousness comes, they are slapped. Being trapped in time and space means you will be slapped by matter over time. Their status is destroyed through this. It's a very high destination to great body consciousness. It's why you get liberated from suffering.
But Brian, when we're soul conscious, are we altering time and space?
You're not altering time and space for anybody else but you in the immediate moment.
Oh, okay.
All of us doing this effort collectively is altering everybody's destiny.
Okay.
But that's also preordained in the realm.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we all have to wake up first.
Okay.
It's not an either or predestiny and free will. Baba says children become soul conscious just as the Father is your obedient servant and therefore egoless. So you too have to become just as egoless as the Father. It means you have to be just as soul conscious as Baba, and that means no ego. There shouldn't be the slightest ego, slightest body consciousness, slightest impurity. It's all the same. Song, neither will he be separated from us, nor there will be sorrow in your hearts. So you think about you're in the copper age and you're declining and violence is starting to happen and people are getting greedy and selfish and they don't feel love anymore. Do you want to know about the cycle of creation or do you want to have faith in God and feel love? That's why it has to be done that way. Mm-hmm. Om Shanti, children heard the song. Children say, when we were in the incorporeal world, we belonged to Baba and Baba belonged to us. You children have received this very clear knowledge. You know that you have been around the cycle. We now belong to him once again. He has come to teach us Raj Yoga and make us into the masters of heaven. He is has come once again exactly as he did in the previous cycle. Okay? Predestined, preordained, nobody can change that. You can't change when God comes, you can't change 1 second in the drum. That is why it's really important. You Trikodarshi before you perform action. But I'm not yet Trikodarshi, therefore make a lot of effort, become soul conscious with the aim of becoming Trikodarshi. The Father says, oh children, so don't just become his children and sit here in Madhuban. Oh, I'm Baba's child. Whilst living at home with your families, remain as pure as a lotus. A lotus flower stays in water, and yet remains above the water, is not touched by the water. The Father says, you have to live at home, but just remain pure. This is the last of your many births before they repeat again. I have come to purify all human beings. So that just translates as, this is the last opportunity you have to sow for your future. This is the last of your many births. I have come to purify all human beings and reverse all the effects of the cycle. So if you don't change now, you don't get to change any other time. It will all be a reverse, whatever you did, but you won't achieve any more than where you're at now. Yes, you'll be happy that all the negativity was reversed, but you won't achieve more when you could have achieved everything. That will not change. The purifier and the bestower of salvation for all is only one. No one apart from him can purify everyone. You know that you have been coming down the ladder for half the cycle. You definitely have to complete your 84 births. It is when you have completed the cycle of 84 births and reach your state of total decay, that is when I come. That's why God is called all merciful. It doesn't come earlier when you're still having fun. It comes at the end when you don't have any fun at all. No one else can make you pure from the impure before then. No one knows the Father or his creation. According to the drama, everyone has to become impure and Tamopradan in this iron age. The Father comes and purifies everyone and takes them back to the land of peace. You then claim your inheritance of that land of happiness from the Father. There is no sorrow in the old age. Having died alive, you now belong to the Father. The Father says, you have to live at home with your families. Because you got all this karma, and Baba can't house 1,000,000 Brahmins and Madhavan. Baba never tells any of you to leave your home and family. No, whilst living at home with your families, you simply have to become pure in this last birth. Has Baba ever said that you have to leave your homes and families? No. You left your homes by yourselves just for the sake of doing God's service. Some children are doing God's service whilst living at home. You could do either. If you really want to do service and have more time to do service, yeah, you gotta leave your home and family. But if you really have a lot of karma measured by your attachment to your families, then you gotta stay home. You have not been made to leave their homes. Baba doesn't tell any of you to leave your home. You have come here by yourselves, your own free will, to do service. Baba has not made any of you leave your home. So people were saying, oh, Baba made us leave our home. After all these tests would come, then they would have regret and they start complaining. Baba says, I never told you to leave your home. Your physical father tells you to get married because you know that it is now the end of the land of death. You don't do that. To get married means to ruin yourself. So how would you be able to become pure? Instead, why should you not engage yourself in making Bharat into heaven? Children want the kingdom of Ram. They call out, O purifier Ram of Sita, Ram, come and make Bharat into heaven. They say this, but they don't understand anything. Sannyasis say that the happiness of this time is like droppings of a crow. It's an illusion. That is what they mean. It doesn't exist. Has no relevance, meaning it doesn't exist. That's what the context of not existing means. It really is like that. There's no happiness here. They say this, but it doesn't enter their intellect that the Father would not create a world to make them unhappy. The Father says, have you forgotten that there's no name or trace of sorrow in the wilderness? He said, that's what I created for you. Where would cons, etc. come from? You now have to follow the directions from the unlimited Father that the unlimited Father gives you. By following your own manmat, you ruin yourselves. Some are amazed. Why? You ruin yourself because you have a degraded body conscious intellect. Nothing you say or think is true, and it will not create benefit. Maybe temporary, limited gain, short-term gain, but eventually leads to your ruination. Some are amazed when they hear this knowledge. They relate it and they run away and become traitors. They go and do so much service. What would become of them? Instead of making their lives as valuable as a diamond, they become like a shell. At the end, you will have visions of everything you did. Because of such behavior, you will claim such and such a status. You mustn't commit any sin here because you are becoming pure and charitable souls. There would be 100-fold punishment for any sin you commit. Why? Because of consciousness. Your consciousness is capable of understanding the truth of what Baba has said. When you sin, you have to suffer more than other souls who do not have this on their hard drive. Although you might go, and because you don't know what's on anyone's hard drive, stop comparing. Although you might go to heaven, you would receive a very low status. You come here to study Raj Yoga, and you then become subjects. There's a lot of difference in the status you attain. It's explained that anyone who gives something to the yajna and then takes it back will have to take birth as a cremator. I would interpret that to mean not just matter, not just money, even vices. Yeah, the hypocrisy of that. You have to take birth as a cremator. Telling a lie, you took back your word. There's going to be a lot of cremators. The behavior of some children is such that their status is reduced. I'll explain. And you could understand that as the cycle progresses, as you get to the Silver Age, you're going to need a lot of cremators. Because then the population is 330 million people. Bob explains, don't perform such actions that would make you claim a low status amongst the subjects instead of that of the king or queen. What would become of someone who surrenders to the yajna and then runs away? The fathers also explain, children, don't perform any sinful action. Otherwise, 100-fold punishment would be experienced. So why should you cause yourself a loss? Those who live at home and do a lot of service claim a much higher status than those who live here. There are many poor children who send 8 annas or a rupee. The poor claim a higher status than those who give thousands here. The poor ones claim a higher status because they don't perform sinful actions. As many and as gross. When a sin is committed, 100-fold punishment is accumulated. You have to become pure and charitable souls and give everyone happiness. If you cause sorrow, then there is the tribunal. Dharma sits with the tribunal, or with 2 others. Provisions are given of what you did and what the punishment for that will be. Even your status is destroyed. So you'll be shown the punishment, you'll be shown what status you would have had, but because you did this, this is now going to your status. You get to see the consequence of the sin on you. Some children listen to this and yet they continue to behave wrongly. The father says constantly live like
Notice.
milk and sugar. If you live like salt water, you cause a lot of disservice. If you become trapped in anyone's name or form, that too is a big sin. Maya is like a mouse. She subtly just wears you down and influences your consciousness. She blows and then bites you in such a way, even when it bleeds, you don't even realize. You don't even realize you're bleeding. Maya also makes you bleed. She makes you perform such actions that you don't even realize what you are doing. Bleeding is like hemorrhaging. When you're bleeding, you're hemorrhaging power. The 5 vices completely scalp you. Baba has to caution you, of course, so that you don't say in front of the tribunal that
I didn't know, or
you weren't warned. You know that God is teaching you. He himself is so egoless. He says, I am your obedient servant. Some children have so much arrogance. After belonging to Baba, they perform such actions. Lie, cheat, steal in some way or the other. Don't even ask. Compared to them, those who live outside at home with their families are very far ahead of them. So surrendered in the yajna doesn't necessarily mean you're more elevated than those who live in the household. But the household is honest, and the ones surrendered in the yajna are stealing, lying, cheating, committing violence. So they're worse. As soon as you become body conscious, Maya punches you hard. To break body consciousness is a high destination. As soon as body consciousness comes, you are slapped. So why become so body conscious that your status is destroyed? It shouldn't be that you have to sweep the floors when you go there. If any of you were to ask Baba your future status, Baba could tell you. Each one of you can understand for yourself how much service you do and how many you have given happiness to. Mama and Baba give everyone happiness. They become so happy. Baba used to perform the dance of this knowledge so much in Bombay. There were many who were like chetrak birds. Baba says, I performed the dance of this knowledge in front of those who are very eager to hear it, and so many good points emerge. The chetrak birds both this to themselves. You too have to become like them. Only then will you be able to follow. You have to follow Shrima. If you follow Manmat and defame the father, you cause a lot of damage. There's no time you're performing Manmat that you're not defaming the father. Listening to Parmat eventually makes you do Manmat and you defame the father. You cause doing what you want. I want this, I like this, to teachers, you are defaming the father. The father is now making you sensible. Bharat used to be heaven. No one considers it to be that now. No other land is as pure as Bharat was. They say this, but they don't understand that they, the people of Bharat, were the residents of heaven. There used to be limitless happiness there. Guru Nanak sang the praise of God and how he comes and washes the dirty, impure clothes. His praise is that he is the immortal one. Instead of Shivlingam, they have used the name the immortal throne. The Father is now explaining the secrets of the whole world to you. Children, don't commit even one sin. That's the gold standard. Otherwise, 100-fold punishment will be accumulated. If you have me to fame, your status will be destroyed. You have to be very cautious. Make your life as valuable as a diamond. Otherwise, there will be great repentance. Whatever wrong actions you have done, it will continue to bite you inside. Will I do the same thing every cycle so that my status becomes so low? The answer is yes. The Father says, if you wish to follow the mother and father lowercase, then do service with
Great intoxication, enthusiasm.
With purity
more.
Honesty.
and soul consciousness.
What was his thing? He was talking about those who live inside, those who live outside.
Honesty.
Honesty. Maya will push her way in and enter you in one way or the other. Just allow yourself to be in Maya is dishonest. To stay in Maya, more dishonest. To feel bad about it and not change, more dishonest. The heads of the centers have become completely egoless. Why? Because our job is to try to help you guys become honest. Maybe you'll be better and you have more honesty, then you should be running the center. Look how egoless the Father is. Some children take personal service from others. Excuse me. The Father is so egoless, he never becomes angry with anyone. The children are disobedient, the Father can explain to them, what are you doing? Only the unlimited Father knows everything. Not all the children are worthy to the same extent. There are still some who are unworthy. Baba continues to explain to you, there are many children. The number of them will increase and there'll be hundreds of thousands of them. The Father continues to caution you, children, don't be careless and make mistakes. Only make mistakes because you're careless. You're only careless because you're lazy. If you're making mistakes, you know you're careless and lazy. You come here to become pure from impure, therefore don't perform impure actions. Don't become trapped in anyone's name or form. Just getting trapped in name and form, being influenced, is carelessness and laziness when you know what you know. Don't become body conscious. Be soul conscious and continue to remember the Father. Right? Why are you doing attachment? Because you're careless and lazy. You don't want to follow Srimad. You don't want to live without the dependency of what you get from the attachment. That's careless and lazy. Continue to follow Srimad. Maya is very powerful. Baba can explain everything. Acha. To you, sweet beloved, sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning. From the Mother, Father, Baptada. Spiritual Father says namaste to you, spiritual children.
And the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father.
Essence for Dharma. Become as egoless as the Father. Don't take personal service from anyone. Don't cause anyone sorrow. So if you don't take personal service from everyone, you shouldn't be giving personal service to anyone. Right? Try not doing that to your children. Don't perform any sinful action due to which punishment would be experienced. Live together like
Milk and sugar.
milk and sugar. Personal service is a sin. Why? Because you're doing it. The ego of I is present in your action. Doesn't matter if it's with relatives. Live together like milk and sugar. 2, follow the Srimad of one Father and not the dictates
Of your mind.
of your own mind. May you become full of all powers and gain victory over the suffering of karma. by becoming detached from the costume of your body in 1 second. Where there's the force of the suffering of karma, your physical organs pull you to the suffering of your karma. Your body increases your experience of suffering, right? At any time when there's a lot of pain because of the effect of that suffering, those who transform the suffering of karma bhog into karma yoga, who go through that suffering with their physical organs as detached observers, the only way to do that is in a state of love. They are called those of the 8 victorious jewels who are full of all power. So everybody's got to settle horrible karma before the end. Will you do it in yoga detached, or will you have to suffer and thereby excluded from the 8? So this practice being detached from the costume of your body over a long period of time. Let your costume not be too tight to attach to your body due to you being attracted by the world, that having desires in this logic world. That is, let it not be pulled. Only then will you be removed from your costume easily. Slogan: in order to receive everyone's respect, have a humble heart. Humility is a sign of greatness. Greatness attracts respect. Avyat signal. If an elevated instrument soul is physically with you, and you have anything verified by him or her, you will be able to do so because your intellect has faith. You will do it whilst keeping the virtues of both fearlessness and faith in front of you. So even if you have somebody near you who can tell you the truth, will you listen to that truth? Will you even understand it? Or will fear and lack of faith interfere with your ability to hear the truth? When you constantly have faith and fearlessness with you, there will be constant victory in your elevated thoughts. Whatever thoughts you have, and the incorporeal and corporeal are with you or in front of you, whatever thoughts you have, and the incorporeal and corporeal are with you or in front of you, have them verified with faith and fearlessness, and then time will not be wasted. So verify them with Bap and Dada, and then your time won't be wasted. Now, how do you do that? Well, you got to learn to have subtle regions yoga. Invaluable elevated versions of Mateshwari. Oh boy, it's a long move today. What is the proof that God is not omnipresent? In the Gita, the jewel of all scriptures, the versions of God are: children, where there is victory, I am there. So wherever God is, there will be victory. How do you make God present? Remembrance. These are God's elevated versions. I am in the Himalayas, which are the highest mountain of all, and amongst the snakes. I am the black snake. This is why amongst the mountains, they show the Kailash mountains and among the snakes, they show a black snake. Whenever they show the picture of a snake, there's always a black snake. And Kailash mountains, I guess it must be because that's why they say he's in the Himalayas, so they show it as the Kailash mountain. This proves that if out of all the snakes, God were just in a black snake, he does not reside then in all the snakes. If God is the highest mountain, and he is not in the lower mountains, then it is said, where there's victory, there is birth. That is, he is not defeated. So that's the point of that, not that that's worth anything, is that therefore God can't be omnipresent. He has to be in everything, everywhere. Well, if he's not in all the mountains, if he's not in all the snakes, then he's not omnipresent. These things prove that God is not omnipresent. On the one hand, they say this and this, and then on the other hand, they say God comes in many forms. They've shown 24 incarnations of God. They say that the fish and the crocodiles, etc., are all forms of God. That is their false knowledge. They just consider God to be everywhere, when in fact, in the Iron Age, it is Maya that is present everywhere. So how can God be present everywhere? It is mentioned in the Gita too, I'm not present in Maya. This proves that God is not everywhere. So if there's a fight going on between Ravan and Ram is reclaiming the kingdom by defeating Ravan, who controls a big kingdom, then clearly Ram isn't present everywhere. 2, the incorporeal world where souls and the Supreme Soul reside. This is a good class for teaching them omnipresence. You can tell Dennis, make a copy of this. We know that we should put labels on them because there's so many words. How are we
Yeah,
gonna
the
find,
topic.
how are we gonna find out? That I wanted to find one on the cycle. I know there are some.
I can go through it.
Yeah, we'll go through it if you have time today, because well, it did not be today, next week probably, but we know that when we speak of the incorporeal world, incorporeal does not mean that it does not have a form. When we speak of the incorporeal world, it definitely has a meaning. It definitely is a world, but it has no form like this physical world does. So the incorporeal world doesn't have a physical form like Earth has. In the same way, the Supreme Soul is incorporeal, but he definitely has his own separate form. So this is why we started changing the word from the 3 worlds to the soul world, and we started also saying it's another dimension. Dimension is a world, it's just not a circular world. So the land of us souls and the Supreme Soul is the incorporeal world. So when we speak of the world, it shows that there's a world there, and that we reside there. And this is why it is given the name world. People of the world think that God's form is of the eternal element of light, but that is the place of God's residence, which is also called the retirement. So when you look at the picture of the 3 worlds, it has egg-shaped forms, not even circular, although the Germans made a circular version of it. It has an egg-shaped form. So that has soul world is meaningless in egg-shaped form. Subtle region is also meaningless that has an egg-shaped form. None of those have a form, those 2 worlds. But we show them as if they have a form. It only matters that it's an egg-shaped form down on Earth, and it's not because the Earth is egg-shaped, although it is subtly an oval, but it's because Earth is the seed. It's where the creation happens. So we all come down on Earth to play our part, and the seed of creation has been planted when we all come down to the Earth. That's the only significance of showing it as an egg shape. Most of the Brahmins of the old days, and maybe many today, will tell you that the world is egg-shaped. But that is the place of God's residence, the eternal world of light. It is also called the retirement home. So we're all going to the retirement home. We cannot say that God's home is God, that Brahma element is God. The other world is the subtle world where the deities Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar reside there in subtle forms. This is a physical world which is of 2 parts. One is the viceless world of heaven, where there's complete happiness, peace, and purity, and for half the cycle. The other is the vicious iron age world of sorrow and peacelessness. Why do we say that there are these 2 worlds? Because people say that both the worlds of heaven and hell are created by God. The God version for this is, children, I did not create the world of sorrow. The world I create is a world of happiness. This world of sorrow and peacelessness is because you souls have forgotten yourselves and myself, the Supreme Soul. And this is why you're suffering, and therefore that's why you turned it into hell. We did this. However, it isn't. And of course, weak Brahmins would then say, no, Baba, we did this because you made us come down here. And Baba says, it's the drama. I didn't make you come down here. I didn't tell you you have to come down here. You came of your own free will. I didn't tell you to leave your homes and families. You did it of your own free will. However, it isn't that while there was the world of happiness and charity, there wasn't a world there. Yes, when we say that deities resided there, there definitely were all the activities there of deities. However, it is certain that there is no creation through vice there, and because of this, there are no karmic bondages. So as soon as you start creating children through vice, it's because of body consciousness, therefore karma now begins. That world is called the world of heaven and free from karmic bondage. So one is the incorporeal world, then there is the subtle world, and third is the physical world. So you could see, oh, that's the end. You could see why lust is the greatest enemy, right? And how ego is the seed of all lust. We performed lust immediately as we fell into operation. Immediately. There's no hesitation. There was no time distance.
No.
Because of body conscious vice. Well, why did we do that? Because we fell into ego just before the destruction of the Silver Age. So ego's the seed, lust was manifested that way. And then anger came because of not getting what you wanted.